You are watching Political Point Magazine. Where the right is right and the left is always on the wrong side of history. Why? Because political minds want to know. So enjoy a conservative point of view. And let's talk pea soup. Tonight, we're gonna start right away with our top story, which is the Clinton Tangled Web. Hillary Clinton is officially politically damaged goods because of a new book that has come out. This is the corrupt Tangled Web of the Hillary Clinton, and we have other stories that we're going to talk about, but I don't have them up on the list. But the big major story tonight is Hillary Clinton has more problems, more troubles, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. In her campaign, and maybe we will talk about other stories too. But tonight, I am your host, William Mitro. All right, my friends. With no further delay, with no further setbacks here. Okay, we get into our top story for the night, which is Hillary Clinton's further woes here. All right, and I mentioned last week that we had I mentioned last week that that there was a new book out called Clinton Cash, written by Peter Schweitzer, whose book has been creating a stir amongst the Clinton camp there. The new book, Clinton Cash. And this is quite interesting because, my friends, oh my goodness, you have to see this. All right. So I'm going to start off with some clips here of things that have approached the Clintons in the news here. All right. And now, okay, starting with this, which is the Clinton Cash, which is the new book by Peter Schweitzer, and I am not the only person reporting on this. This has been in the news, and the Clinton Foundation has gotten Bill and Hillary into a little bit of a tangle here. All right, so it's not just me that's reporting this. So mind you, here we go. I'm going to show you these clips. All right, but the Clinton Tangled Web. Okay, and this report from Fox News.
The Clintons have been cashing in.
They took in something like $136 million.
But have they also been selling out?
Everybody walked away from the table that night with something.
The Clintons' influence is felt all over the globe.
Bill Clinton did a good job. There sounds like there's a but in there. No, there is a lot of buts.
Will it all come back to haunt Hillary?
We're talking about uranium. We're talking about the Russian government.
We will be subjected to all kinds of distraction and attacks. I'm ready for that.
Fox News reporting the Tangled Clinton Web. From Washington, D.C., Brett Bailey.
All here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
The Clintons have been cashing in.
They took in something like $136 million.
But have they also been selling out?
Everybody walked away from the table that night with something.
The Clintons' influence is felt all over the globe.
Bill Clinton did a good job. There sounds like there's a but in there. No, there's a lot of buts.
Will it all come back to haunt Hillary?
We're talking about uranium. We're talking about the Russian government.
January 12, 2010. Haiti suffers a devastating 7.0 earthquake. More than 200,000 die, and over 100,000 buildings and homes are destroyed. Within 4 days, U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton arrives to survey the damage.
I want to assure the people of Haiti that the United States is a friend, a partner, and a supporter.
2 days later, former President Clinton was on the ground.
I hope it will be rebuilt in a much stronger and more sustainable way, and I think the Haitians want that.
Bill Clinton had previously been named UN Special Envoy for Haiti. He and Hillary had close ties with the country, even honeymooning there. Hillary's State Department, working with USAID, the United States Agency for International Development, would oversee America's relief effort. The government of Haiti set up the IHRC, Interim Haiti Recovery Commission, to coordinate. 2 men were named co-chairs of the IHRC Executive Committee, Haitian Prime Minister Jean-Max Bellarive and Bill Clinton himself. The idea was to not just fix things, but improve them. In an interview with Esquire, President Clinton had big plans, saying, quote, "Wouldn't it be great if they became the first wireless nation in the world? They could. I'm telling you, they really could." But it wasn't at all clear that the people of Haiti would be the big winners in the disaster relief gold rush.
Anytime there's a natural disaster anywhere, there is a lot of money potentially to be made in reconstruction contracts and relief contracts, etc.
Peter Schweitzer is the author of the new book, Clinton Cash, where he investigates the snarl of money, politics, and personal interest that has come to characterize the Clintons' interactions around the world. Clinton Cash is published by HarperCollins, a sister company to Fox News.
Shortly after the earthquake took place, U.S. Ambassador in Haiti sent a cable to the State Department, the title of which The Gold Rush is On. And the memo was about the fact that businessmen and companies were showing up in Haiti trying to seek lucrative contracts.
It was the job of the IHRC to oversee this process and to ensure no one took advantage of the situation. But what if it was part of the problem?
A number of members of the IHRC actually wrote a letter expressing their concerns that they were not involved in the process, that all the decisions were being made by Clinton and Bellarive. In addition, they claimed and argued that the national priorities of Haiti were basically being totally disregarded by the decisions that were being made.
As Haiti dug itself out of the rubble, many projects were initiated, often with U.S. money and a connection to the Clintons. For instance, there was the Haitian Mobile Money Initiative, where a much-needed system was created to help transfer money via cell phones. There was also a plan to raise money by exploiting Haiti's rich mineral wealth.
The Haitian government announces that they're going to offer 2 so-called gold exploitation permits, the first issued in 50 years in Haiti, that would allow for the extraction and gold mining in the country.
Perhaps the most celebrated project of all was Caracol Industrial Park.
What is happening here in Caracol is already having ripple effects that will create jobs and opportunities far beyond this industrial park.
The grand opening of Caracol was a big deal. You had Bill Clinton there, you had Hillary Clinton there, you had Donna Karan, the fashion designer, you had Ben Stiller, you had Sean Penn. Lots of people showed up to say how wonderful this facility was going to be for everybody.
But as all these projects moved forward, questions were raised. The central question, the question which Schweitzer investigated, was about how so many of these deals seemed to come back at some point to the Clintons.
What quickly became apparent to many people was that if you wanted a contract, if you wanted to do business in Haiti, you had to have relationships with the Clinton. That was absolutely key.
The company that cleaned up on the cell phone transfers was Digicel.
In the 6 months running up to September 2012, they took in more than $50 million in revenue in Haiti.
Digicel is run by Irish billionaire Dennis O'Brien, who set up lucrative speeches for Bill Clinton, as well as donating millions of his own money to the Clinton Foundation. And one company that got a rare gold permit was VCS Mining, which didn't actually have much mining experience, but would soon have Hillary Clinton's brother, Tony Rodham, on its board. As for the Caracol Industrial Park, the anchor tenant is a Korean manufacturer, which supplies to major U.S. retailers, who also happen to be big Clinton supporters. And while the State Department promised 65,000 jobs, to date, only 5,000 have been delivered. As for those other projects, they didn't exactly work out as promised.
My fellow citizens, tonight is my last opportunity to speak to you from the Oval Office as your president.
January 2001. Bill Clinton has completed 2 terms as president, but he's got bills to pay.
We came out of the White House not only dead broke, but in debt. It was not easy. Bill has worked really hard.
Thank you. That he has, traveling around the world, making speeches at up to $750,000 a pop.
Hello!
Hillary Clinton has also made 6-figure sums for her personal appearances.
The Clintons, particularly after Bill left office, have gone from being dead broke to being fabulously wealthy. The estimates are their income in the 12 years following his exit from the presidency up to 2012, they took in something like $136 million.
Peter Schweitzer is the author of Clinton Cash, due out on May 5th.
That came from speaking fees, from book deals, and other sources of income. The bottom line is nobody in American political history has come close to going from being dead broke to being fabulously wealthy in such a short period of time.
When confronted about all of that income in an interview with ABC News' Diane Sawyer, Hillary explained.
I thought making speeches for money was a much better thing than getting connected with any one group or company, as so many people who leave public life do.
But there was also an organization that the Clintons set up with an ambitious global agenda, an entity that would take in far more money than Bill and Hillary's incomes combined.
People walking past this building in the heart of Manhattan probably have no idea who the tenant is on the 17th floor. That's because there's no sign indicating it's the world headquarters of the Bill, Hillary, and Chelsea Clinton Foundation.
He's not president anymore, and she's not president yet. Still, the Clinton Foundation represents a sort of global power center. It was founded in 2001 as the William J. Clinton Presidential Foundation, with the stated mission of marshaling government and private resources to attack global hunger, poverty, climate change, and disease. In other words, basically solving the world's problems.
Together, we can be there for all of our neighbors around the block, around the country, and around the world.
He is enormously proud.
It's been estimated that over the years, the foundation has raised more than $1 billion.
The concern is that these contributions to the Clinton Foundations or these speaking fees are being provided not simply out of the kindness of the hearts of these individuals, but because they want something from the Clintons. And my contention is there seems to be a pattern of behavior in which they are actually giving those individuals what they want.
Many high-ranking politicians in both parties have set up foundations, but the Clintons are a power couple unlike any the world has ever seen. For not only is Bill an ex-president, already a rare power broker, but in Hillary, they've got someone who was a senator, then a secretary of state, and who might be president.
The Clinton Foundation, I have some questions on that topic.
Like a lot of folks, I have some concerns
the
about
appearance of a conflict of interest between his work, meaning the foundations, and the duties of Secretary of State.
In such a situation, it makes sense there'd be a fear of influence peddling.
The Obama transition team was concerned about the fact that there had been such a large flow of funds to the Clinton Foundation and also to the Clintons' personal accounts because of the speaking fees. So they wanted to set up a structure of accountability.
This led to a memorandum of understanding, which had explicit requirements for both Clintons.
One was that they were going to disclose all new contributions to the Clinton Foundation and its initiatives. The second was if there were any foreign government funds or foreign government businesses that were going to donate to the Clinton Foundation, that would require prior approval by the State Department. And then a third requirement was that Bill Clinton's speeches and or any consulting arrangements that he might have with outside parties also needed to be vetted by the State Department.
So help me God.
Hillary became Secretary of State, and the Clinton Foundation continued to do its work. But suspicions lingered.
People who were writing these large checks, if they weren't getting access to a former president and a then Secretary of State, what were they getting?
They were getting the ability to participate in large-scale social welfare programs in their home countries or regions of interest or importance to them, to change the world and to be a partner with the President of the United States or the former Secretary of State on life-changing endeavors.
The bottom line is the Clintons have been called lots of things by their friends and enemies over the years. The one phrase that I've never seen associated with the Clintons is the word naive. When we were all juicer operations in Colombia.
The dealings of Bill and Hillary are part of what Peter Schweitzer calls the Clinton blur, a mix of money and politics, diplomacy and personal interest, all so interconnected that it's easy to get lost.
It's so hard when you look at the Clintons to try to figure out where the charity ends and begins, where their profit-making ends and begins, and where their official powers as Secretary of State or Senator ends and begins. And the problem is they all get blurred together.
To put together his book, Clinton Cash, Schweitzer and his team of researchers spent more than a year unraveling the tangled web. Schweitzer took us through a number of these cases. For instance, there's money from the Middle East.
The United Arab Emirates wants to have close relationship with the United States. And in 2011, they are under pressure from the Obama administration and Hillary Clinton's State Department because of Iran sanctions. And that is that certain UAE companies are continuing to trade or service transshipment points to Iran.
Okay, so now, fast forward a couple of months.
On December 12th, you have the foreign minister of the United Arab Emirates who is flying to Washington, D.C. to meet with the Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, over some troubling issues. That very same day, the foreign minister's brother, who's the crown prince, is paying Hillary's husband, Bill Clinton, $500,000 for a speech in Abu Dhabi.
As for comment, the UAE did not put out a formal statement about President Clinton's speech, but they did provide a list of donations they've given to charitable organizations around the world. There's money from Europe.
Beginning in 2009, the Swedish telecom giant Ericsson is coming under increasing pressure in the United States because it's selling telecom equipment to repressive governments around the world. In the midst of all of this, they decide to pay Bill Clinton to give a speech for the first time ever. They pay him a whopping $750,000.
Soon after, Hillary Clinton's State Department urged new, broader sanctions against Iran. But the guidelines did not include telecom, which is Ericsson's business. Ericsson declined our interview request. The company conceded that the investment was significant, $750,000. But they said it should be seen in light of Clinton's crowd pull, the fact that he had to travel to Hong Kong for the event, and that the event spanned 2 days. The company insists that the conversation regarding Iran had no impact on the decision. There's money from South America. In June 2010, Bill Clinton was in Colombia.
Bill Clinton meets with the then president of Colombia, Uribe, to discuss matters in private. What's curious is that Hillary Clinton is in Colombia at the same time. And after Bill leaves the presidential palace, Hillary Clinton comes in and has lunch with the president of Colombia, where she signed some technical agreements and explains her commitment to a free trade agreement between Colombia and the United States.
The very same trade agreement she had pledged to defeat while running for president in 2008.
As I have said for months, I oppose the deal. I have spoken out against the deal. I will vote against the deal, and I will do everything I can to urge the Congress to reject the Colombian free trade deal.
Also in Colombia with Bill Clinton was Frank Giustra, a billionaire businessman and family friend. We'll meet again. Let's go down the timeline as you have it.
Frank Giustra, a Canadian billionaire, arrives in Colombia with Bill Clinton on June 8th, 2010. Hillary, at that same time, meets with President Uribe. What's troubling is in that the days that follow, Frank Giustra, who is one of the largest contributors to the Clinton Foundation, sees not one, not two, but actually 3 of his companies get major concessions from the Uribe government in Colombia.
Neither Giustra nor former President Uribe ever responded to our request for a comment on the Colombia deal.
Now let me go further.
Moody of
Sorry
Saudi
about that.
Arabia announces with Bill in London that he's committing.
But anyhow, before I go further here, now we're gonna talk about how Fox News wasn't the only news agency to report this. All right, and now there's articles about it in the New York Times, and Reuters, and the New York Post, and the New York Daily News. Here, let me show you. All right, there's the New York Post. All right, okay. Quid pro quo. All right, and then there's the Daily News. The Daily News had the Clintons mentioned right at the bottom of their front page there. Okay, and then there's the New York Times. All right, right there. Okay, right on the front page. Okay, and let me tell you something about the New York Times here. All right, now the New York Times had an extensive article here. Okay, in fact, okay, they had it all laid out, right? They had it all laid out right there. See, and okay, so now with this, the New York Times laid it all out, piece by piece. They had a big timeline of events that took place here, right at the corner of the page. Although the Post also had a big extensive timeline right here. Okay, now I'm gonna take it from the Post, but first off, I want to. But now we're gonna take this from the Post, but the real deal that made this quite interesting was the Kazakhstan deal. Okay, now the Kazakhstan deal, and this was dealing with uranium. All right, now take
the stunning case of Kazakhstan and how American uranium ended up in the hands of the Russians. Remember businessman and Clinton friend Frank Giustra? Well, he figures in this story too.
On September 6, 2005, Bill Clinton shows up in Kazakhstan, where Frank Giustra, a Canadian investor, has been trying to get control to buy a couple of uranium mines. And he became really partners in a way with Bill Clinton, working on philanthropic activities.
I came to him with an idea about creating an initiative to alleviate poverty.
Furthermore, Frank Giustra has been involved in helping to facilitate speaking engagements for the Clintons.
Frank Giustra and Bill Clinton were whisked to the presidential palace of President Nazarbayev in Kazakhstan. And it's a fascinating story because everybody walked away from the table that night with something.
The story caught the attention of Pulitzer Prize-winning New York Times reporter Joe Becker.
What President Nazarbayev got was this huge propaganda coup. Bill Clinton basically endorsed the progress that Kazakhstan had made in terms of their own democracy, which was sort of interesting given that President Nazarbayev was elected with 90+% of the vote in an election that was widely criticized as being rigged.
Bill Clinton has a public press conference with President Nazarbayev where he praises his rule and praises his human rights record. But the bottom line is, after they leave, a couple of days later, Frank Giustra gets his uranium concessions, which end up being enormously lucrative to him and to a small group of Canadian mining investors.
His company was like a bit player, and really had gone from a worthless shell company overnight, got this huge uranium mining deal. And then soon after that, Bill Clinton got a huge donation, $31 million from Frank Giustra to his charitable foundation, followed by a pledge to donate $100 million more.
Our calls to the Kazakhstan embassy were never returned. We talked to Frank Giustra, who told us he considers this an old story, and said that he's not interested in politics. Meanwhile, his defenders insist that no undue influence was exerted in Kazakhstan because the deal did not require the Kazakh government's approval.
The problem is there are corporate records that indicate very, very clearly that the Kazakh government did have to sign off and approve. And in fact,
that's what we're looking at here.
That's exactly. This is what we're looking at here, which is the amended Memorandum of Understanding that's dated September 15th, 2005, between the Ministry of Energy of the Republic of Kazakhstan and Kazatomprom, which is the atomic agency in Kazakh government. So there's no way that they can argue the Kazakh government was not a party to these negotiations. They were signatories to this agreement.
And there's a postscript to the Kazakhstan tale.
Kazakh officials wanted to take an equity stake in Westinghouse, which is a U.S. company that works in the civilian nuclear field.
When you have a sensitive industry like Westinghouse is involved in the nuclear industry, that requires review by the U.S. government.
So the potential investors came to America to see the man who could make things happen.
Frank Giustra arranged for Kazatomprom officials to go to Bill Clinton's house in Chappaqua. When I first contacted both the Clinton Foundation, Mr. Clinton's spokesman, and Mr. Giustra, they denied any such meeting ever took place. And then when we told them, well, we'd already talked to the head of Kazatomprom, who not only told us all about the meeting, but actually has a picture of him and Bill at the home in Chappaqua, you know, and that he proudly displayed on his office wall, they then acknowledged that, yes, the meeting had taken place.
So what happened to Giustra's company that benefited from that deal in Kazakhstan? After a merger, it became a uranium giant called Uranium One. And then the Russians bought it.
Uranium One became very active in acquiring uranium assets actually in the United States itself. By 2008, 2009, they were a particularly attractive target for the Russian government.
And the Russians acquired that target.
They would acquire what would amount to 50% of projected uranium output by 2015.
In other words, Russia now controls what was projected to be up to half of America's uranium. Now, does Secretary Clinton factor into this?
For that deal to go through, it needs federal government approval, and one of those people that has to approve that deal is Secretary of State Hillary Clinton.
Who, as Senator Clinton, was vigorously opposed to these kind of buys from countries into U.S. property.
That's a great point, Brett. You remember the Dubai Ports deal, for example, which he was opposed to.
We believe that no foreign government should control our ports.
In this particular case, we're talking about uranium. We're talking about things that relate to the nuclear industry. We're talking about the Russian government.
Which already provides equipment, material to Iran.
That's correct.
Just how deeply those uranium interests were invested in the Clintons was not disclosed by them or their foundation. Schweitzer learned about that by scouring Canadian tax records. So let's go to the Fernwood document.
Well, Fernwood Foundation is an entity in Canada controlled by Ian Telfer, who ends up being the chairman of Uranium One, which is the Russian-owned uranium company. Ian Telfer, in 2007, made an individual contribution to the Clinton Foundation. The problem is, based on Canadian tax records, in this particular case, made a payment of $250,000 to the Clinton-Giustra Sustainable Growth Initiative. They are required to disclose the donation. They failed to do that. This is a hidden contribution. And over the course of a couple of years, you're talking about more than $2 million from the Fernwood Foundation to the Clinton Foundation. When you actually go to the Clinton Foundation website itself on disclosures and type in Fernwood, you find no contributions listed whatsoever.
Uranium One and Ian Telfer declined to comment. So what this amounts to in the end is a Russian company, essentially controlled by Vladimir Putin, will now be in charge of a substantial portion of American uranium. Russia sends uranium to its client state, Iran. So American uranium could well be sent to the very nation we're negotiating with to try to slow its ability to develop a nuclear weapon. Thus, we see how far-reaching the effect of the Clinton blur, as Schweitzer puts it, can be.
As you can see now, this is so damning, so damaging to the Clintons. All right, now, as we go through this now, okay, it's after the Clintons left the White House. All right, Bill Clinton's income and Hillary Clinton's income grew dramatically because of the foreign contributions and the donations from foreign governments, and as they did speeches all over the world. Okay, now in 2001, Bill Clinton from paid speeches got $9.4 million. In 2002, he got $9.4 million, another $9.4 million. 2003, he got $3.9 million. 2004, $875,000. 2005, $7.6 million. And 2006, $10.1 million. 2007, $9.9 million, and $5.6 million in 2008. And then in 2009, from 2009 to 2012, he got millions more. They got generally wealthy. 2009, $7.5 million. 2010, $10.7 million. 2011, $13.4 million. And 2012, $17 million. All right. Now, the New York Times details this. All right, and I'm going to show you the New York Times right there. There. Okay. Now, the New York Times details this in their little timeline here. All right, and as you can see right there, okay, it starts off. Okay, the donations to the Clinton Foundation, okay, right there, and a Russian uranium takeover. All right, now it starts off, okay. Now it starts off with in 2005. In 2005, Frank Justra and a Canadian mining financer wins a major uranium deal in Kazakhstan for his company, Eurasia, days after visiting the country with former President Bill Clinton. 2006, Mr. Justra donates $31.3 million to the Clinton Foundation. All right. Then, February 2007, okay, there's a merger, as was in the clip I just showed you, with a South African mining company, and assumes the name Uranium One. In the next 2 months, the company expands into the United States. June 2008, negotiations begin for an investment in Uranium One by the Russian Atomic Energy Agency, Rosatom. Then now I'm going to go down, and then from 2008 to 2010, Uranium One and former Eurasia investors make $8.65 million in donations to the Clinton Foundation. Uranium One investors stand to profit on a Rosatom deal. Okay? And then in June 2009, Rosatom subsidiary ARMZ takes 17% ownership of Uranium One. And then from 2010 to 2011, investors give millions more in donations to the Clinton Foundation due to speeches and everything. Right? Then in June 2010, Rosatom seeks majority ownership of Uranium One, pending approval by the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, of which the State Department is a member. This is under Secretary Hillary Clinton. Okay. And in June 2009, June 29th, 2010, excuse me, Bill Clinton is paid $500,000 for a speech in Moscow by a Russian investment bank with ties to the Kremlin that assigned a buy rating to Uranium One stock. Okay, at this point, in October 2010, Russia takes 51% stake of a majority ownership is approved by the Committee on Foreign Investments in the United States. And then in January 2013, still while Hillary was Secretary of State, and mind you, she had to approve the deal. Rosatom takes full control of Uranium One. Wow, this, my friends, is quite interesting. All right, and so, my friends, all right. Now, before I get to the phone calls, though, all right, now we have a little sticky situation here. All right, with the Clintons. Now, it's always something with the Clintons. All right, and it's always something with the Clintons. Now, okay, it's always something with the Clintons. All right, but before I get to the phone calls here, I want to talk about something that I want to talk about something that I read in the New York Post. All right, now, okay, and this is quite interesting. Now, in New York now, okay, and we're gonna put this up on the screen here in a moment here. All right, but we're gonna put this up on the screen here in a moment here. But I want to get into something that New York has been doing. All right, and I'm gonna put this in. We're going to talk about this in my Political Point magazine's Political Point of Vision. All right. Now, in the New York Post, they reported on a program that was installed by Governor Andrew Cuomo, all right, called Startup New York, all right. Now, incidentally, okay, now the Startup New York was supposed to create literally thousands of jobs and bring businesses back to New York, all right. What their angle was is you go on Startup New York, okay, their website, which is promoting this, okay, and And as the governor's own people reported, Startup New York has so far managed to produce only 76 jobs. Okay. Now they spent $53 million on advertising for this, and the angle was, you start up a business, and if it's up to their standards, they will approve it, and you pay no taxes for 10 years. All right. Now, there was something a little fishy about this. All right. And now Republicans voted against Startup New York when it passed in 2013, and because they repeatedly argued that it's just a new twist of corporate welfare when it claims to offer tax-free environment. It really means tax-free for just a few well-connected corporations picked by Albany, and high taxes for everyone else. All right. Now, this program also got criticism from the left. All right. There was Robin Schwimmer, Democrat, the Democrat from Erie County, who chairs the Assembly's Economic Development Committee, warns that we may have soon be seeing the tax-free companies in the startup program pirating employees from companies that aren't in the program, supposedly now. All right, now this is interesting. Okay, now he says that he says that will put a spotlight on the unfair competition aspect. It's yet another excellent argument against what the governor declared inaugural. Okay, now the railing from the left included the Working Families Party, okay, and the Fiscal Policy Institute, which are supported by unions. These groups joined with the state Conservative Party and business groups this month to demand a freeze on spending for the program and a review as to whether it's producing results. Okay, now the Republicans' argument that it creates corporate welfare, okay, status, is kind of like, this creates an environment where the government is picking. The government picks the winners and losers. All right, and that's not good. All right, because when the government now doesn't this just create more of a tangled web here, and I was reading that and I was like, doesn't this make the liberals' argument more closer to reality, where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, and only some businesses and corporations don't pay any taxes at all. This is a little fishy here, and it gets worse. It gets worse when the government is actually pushing and encouraging the practice. And this is a Democrat that proposed it. This is a Democrat governor. I've always said from the start that Andrew Cuomo is the wrong man for the job. Yep. most certainly the wrong man for the job. All right, I said that from the beginning. All right, and it should have been Astorino to win that election. All right, but Startup New York only created 76 jobs. Man, that's awful, and you know, and it's also shocking that it proposed you pay zero taxes for 10 years. That's quite odd. All right, now speaking of people that haven't paid their taxes, the people at MSNBC are always tagging along this liberal line of pay our fair share, right, and taxing the rich, right? Well, take a listen to this. Okay, take a listen to this. All right, here it comes, man.
Our part, but that's part of the problem. Not everyone does seem to be paying their dues.
Makers versus takers. Cuts and loopholes to the rich, and they act like it's acceptable.
Paying into the collective pot is part of our duty as citizens.
I don't get to opt out of paying taxes once we've made a kind of collective decision.
They're all afraid to vote for even a modest tax increase on people who can totally afford it.
If we want the rich to pay more money, getting them to give out of might be our only option.
Joining us with reaction now.
Well, now, it appears, though, that every single one of those people from MSNBC owes taxes, hasn't paid their taxes. All right, and this is so typical of the left. All right, now I'm gonna put this chart up on the screen here, and oh, you're gonna love this. All right, but I'm gonna put this chart up on the screen. All right, and and take a look at this, okay? Al Sharpton, okay? Now, Al Sharpton, mind you, owes. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, I'm gonna read the chart here. All right, but they have Al Sharpton. Okay, Al Sharpton here. All right, now I'm gonna read the chart here. All right, but Al Sharpton. And I don't have that much time for phone calls here, okay? But Al Sharpton owes $4.5 million in back taxes, all right? Okay, and Melissa Harrison Perry owes $48,000, just about $50,000, and Tory Neblett owes about $60,000 in taxes, and Joy Reid owes about $5,000 in taxes. And these are commentators on MSNBC. Oh, what a tangled web we weave. Oh, how dare you! You lecture us about paying our fair share, but yet you don't pay any of your taxes. Okay, and in the Clinton in the latest Clinton scandal, they didn't disclose over $1 million, over $3.5 million of their contributions, and this was from their uranium deal. All right, but I have some time left here. All right, and this was all disclosed here, but I have some time left here, and I want to get to the phone calls. All right, so I want to know what's on your political mind. All right, okay, as we move along here, 27th here, 272-0319. What's on your political mind? I don't have that much time left. All right, but we are definitely on the inroads here. All right, but 272-0319. All right, is the number. All right. Okay, But it's just interesting. Okay, the way everything has been shaping up, and now, while I'm waiting for phone calls, I'm gonna go into some of what I've been wanting to talk about. Is the Republican field now is shaping up to be really good. Rubio actually moved ahead of the pack. All right, the last poll I saw was him at in double digits above the rest of the pack. All right, but it just goes to show you that things have been shaping up, and now with this recent scandal developing, and all the newspaper organizations coming and reporting on it. We have Reuters, we have the New York Times, we have the New York Post, the New York Daily News, even the Washington Post. All of these papers reported on this. Right? This has been in the news for weeks now. All right? And it makes you wonder, okay, that with all of the Clinton scandals piling up, the emails, the server, and the Clintons deny any involvement in this, or any wrongdoing, but there is close to the smoking gun here. Okay, with the Clintons, it's always something with the Clintons. Even Mitt Romney sensed something was wrong. Romney was right. Especially about Russia and everything else. It just comes as no surprise, mind you, that we have things shaping up as things come into play. And now, which begs the question, which direction do you really want this country to go? Okay, we are going to be screwed with Hillary. Okay, if Hillary gets in there and gets control out of just about everything, all right, we're not going to have a country left. All right, it's not going to be good for the country. All right, so we come into this, all right, and since I didn't really have time for phone calls here, all right, okay, since I didn't really have time for phone calls, I need to get to the last words for the night. All right. But I just want to keep you apprised with things that have been going on. All right. Oops. That's okay.
It just starts going again.
All right. Now, so last words for the night, my friends. Let's all really think about this. All right. We have lots of time left, and there's going to be some good candidates coming up in May announcing their candidacy for president. Carly Fiorina, and Ben Carson are going to announce in May. All right, and this should be really good the way it's shaping up. But I have a word of advice for the Democrats. Okay, if you really, really want to make a difference in this world, and if you really, really are sick and tired of Hillary, I suggest that some of you prominent Democrats get into the field. All right. All right, but that's our show for tonight, my friends. Okay, sorry I didn't get any calls, but be warned that Hillary is not the candidate. She's not ready for prime time. All right, but follow me on Twitter at WilliamMetro2, and check us out on YouTube. All right. Okay, thank you for watching Political Point, where the right is right and the left is always on the wrong side of history.